Hey everyone, welcome back. In this Selenium Python tutorial, we are going to continue the framework development, and we have already covered about the basic structure that we'll be following in the PyCharm, and we have also discussed what exactly the framework is. So please watch previous tutorials if you haven't watched those. Now here, by mistake, I created this package reports, but reports we can store in the folder, right? So I simply delete this and create a folder instead of the package. Okay, so let me quickly do it. And I'll name it as directory, basically, so folder. So I'll put all the reports, so basically HTML reports, in the reports folder, right? So we have this base, and let me change it to lowercase so everything is consistent, right? So here we have base, config files, pages, so a couple of packages wherein we'll have the Python files, and then we have the folders for the screenshot, reports, and test data, where we'll have the test data. Now before we proceed, so we have briefly covered about this particular test case, but I would like to give you a very beginner aspect of this framework and why do we want to approach the way we are going to do now. So say for example, this is your test case, right? And if we go to yatra.com, so here our test case is basically to launch the website. Then when you launch, you have this one way. Okay, so we want to search for the flight. So depart from and going to, we are selecting the departure date, clicking on search flights, right? So we are not changing the traveler, so it's default one traveler, and then we are clicking on the search flights. As soon as we click on the search flights, it redirects me to the flight results page, right? So this is next page. First page is where you will enter all the details, or where the user is going to enter the flight search details, and then click on search flights. After the user clicks on search flights, the user is redirected to the search flights page, where it will result all the flight details for that particular date and those destination, the source and destination. Okay, now on this page I am selecting a particular filter, so one stop, and then verifying this whether all the flights that are shown here are showing one stop. Now as part of the manual testing, if I'm approaching this particular test case, this is what I'll do. I'll launch the browser, I'll open yatra.com, put departing from and going to, then I'll select the date, then I'll search, and on this particular page I'll click on the filter and verify that all these flight options that I'm getting here are having this one stop, right? So this is brief manual testing. Now if I have to approach this manual testing here, the steps, I'll simply write some of the steps here. So say for example, I launch the travel website, right? First step. Then second step is to provide going from location. Step is to provide going to location, right? Fourth one is to select the departure date, and fifth step is to click on flight search button, then select the filter one stop, and then I'm verifying. So verify that the filter results show flight having only one stop, right? So these are the simple steps that a manual testing person is going to follow in order to approach this particular test case. Now if you see my automation script is doing the same stuff that I have made a note here as part of the manual test steps. But if you see this particular automation script, what it does, these 4 lines here, okay, these 4 lines here are launching the browser, right? Launching browser and opening the travel website. So please bear with me, it's going a little bit slow, but I'm pretty sure by end of this you will actually understand how the frameworks work and the core concept behind it. Now you'll find a lot of technical explanations all over the place, but unless and until you correlate it why you are doing the way you should be, you won't be able to grasp in the detail that you should be understanding it, right? So that's why I'm trying to simplify things and making you understand in the most simplest way. So if you're not able to understand still, just please comment on the video, shoot me an email, and I'll try to simplify as much as I can, right? So these 4 lines are basically doing that. So opening the browser, opening yatra.com, and then maximizing the page, right? So the browser page. Then to select the depart from, I'm using these 4 lines here. So the next thing I'm doing is I'm here selecting. So basically let me copy the details from here. So I'm doing this, providing going from location. Okay, so this is the next thing that I'm doing. All right, in this script, after that what I'm doing is I am selecting the going to location, which is these going to lines that you see here. And this, along with all this logic like selecting or looping around the results and then selecting the value based on the results, it's all part of the selection of the going to, right? After that, what I'm doing is I'm waiting here, right? So I'm waiting until the element becomes clickable. So all this is more of a synchronization to resolve the synchronization issue. So to resolve sync issues, right? So this is all about that. Okay, then here the next step here is to select the date, right? And then I'm putting the sleep there. So select the departure date. So these are some hard-coded sleep values that I have also put in there, which is what we need to get rid of as we proceed with the automation framework. So here I'm selecting the departure date. The next step was to click on the flight search button, right? So after selecting the date, right, this is the sleep, hard sleep that I have put in here, wait, so script will wait. And then this next bit is not here, sorry. So this is the click, right? So this is the search flights. Okay, so this is what we are doing here. So we are clicking on the flight search button using this particular line here, and then I'm waiting, or basically waiting for the script or the next page, which is the search flight results page, to load fully, and that's why I'm putting hard sleep there, right? So I can put the explicit wait as well here, right? But I put the time.sleep just to show you how we'll optimize all of these using this explicit waits in our framework. Okay, the next thing we are doing is now, because once this flight gets loaded, the flight details get loaded by default, the flight details, all the flight details do not get loaded instantaneously, right? So you will in the DOM, in the page DOM, what happens is, if say for example you will open this particular page, right? So as soon as you click on search flight, so it lists some of the flights, okay? And if you scroll down, then it will start loading, or dynamic loading happens for more flights if more flights are visible. And as you keep scrolling down, it will list all the details until it is able to until all the details or all the flight details are there, right? Now this dynamic scrolling part is basically handled by this particular script here, which I'll cover in the next tutorial, so don't worry about it. This is basically using the JavaScript executor if the scroll is dynamic, right? So at one particular point, you can simply use this window.scroll to this particular statement to scroll a particular page till the end of the loaded page, right? But if the end of the page, if you scroll at the bottom and it again changes, or it again expands the page to the next level, this same statement is not going to work, right? So dynamic scroll we need to handle with this particular script here. Okay, so this one here is to handle dynamic scroll. All right, and this is all about, to here, this is all about handling dynamic scroll. Okay, after that we are selecting, so we are selecting filter. Okay, so selecting the filter one stop. So after this, here you will see this is what I'm doing. So basically, let me minimize this. So here, this statement here, or the code below this, is selecting, including this. So this is basically printing the length. So this is not required as such. So let me, right. So as part of the test, we don't need it, but I was just printing the total number of flights that you will get. The next bit here, the next line here is selecting the filter, right? So this is basically selecting the filter by one stop. Okay, so here you will see that it is basically finding the filter one stop, right? And then it is printing all the stops that I get for after selecting that one stop filter, right? Now that's this filter part, and then we are verifying, right? So let me correct the spelling of the verify. The last bit is to verify that all the filtered results show the flights having only one stop. So for that, I'm using this for loop here. Okay, and this for loop is looking for all the stops. So after selecting this one stop filter, I am getting all the web elements with this particular XPath, right? And this XPath is for checking this one stop, right? So it checks all the flights which have this one stop, right? So it checks this particular locator, it gets the locator which has all this one stop, and it keeps those into a web element list, right? So it keeps that into the list, and you will see that I'm using presence of all elements, right? So this will return a list, and that's where I'm storing it in the all stops, and I'm printing all stops, right? So whatever stops after selecting the one stop filter will be returned or stored will be basically printed. Now the verification whether those stops, so any stop within all stop list, I'm just using a simple for loop to check whether the text of that particular stop, the text that is returned from this particular XPath, matches one stop, and that's how I'm trying to just iterate, and I'm just asserting that. So this is my test case, right? I'm covering this to give you a brief idea how much extra code we are writing within this test. Okay, so can we not externalize this? This is a common process that you'll follow if you're writing, say for example, 200, 400, 500 test cases. You have to launch the browser, you have to maximize the page, right? You have to launch your application. So this is the common thing that you can externalize and reuse it rather than hard coding it in all your 200, 500 test cases. So tomorrow, say for example, you have to change something in the URL, right? Your test URL has changed. Then you have to go to 500 test cases and update it there, which is very, very bad approach, right? So this will be removed as part of the framework approach. This will be externalized and will be creating a common driver launching and opening the browser URL mechanism as part of the framework. Then we will be having the methods to provide the location. So what we are providing the going from location. So we should be having a simple method which should say something, going from, and then we should provide something going from, just the value may be something here, right? So we'll say just from where we are going from. So we'll say New Delhi, right? And even this value won't be hard coded. This can be picked up from the CSV file or the Excel file, right? So this is what we need as part of this step, right? So all these steps can be removed or can be externalized, and here in my test case I can just have, like the manual test person will do, I simply need to have these many statements, and that will make my test case very, very simple to understand and maintainable, right? So I don't have to come back if tomorrow anything changes. Say for example, any of the locator changed, then I will go to the file which contains this particular locator, and we are following page object model, so we'll understand in a brief duration, like in a couple of further tutorials, how you can externalize all these locators, and by changing the locator at one place it will take effect in all your test cases. So you do not have to touch your test cases at all, and that's the whole purpose of the automation framework. So this is brief about a brief detail I wanted to cover before we get into the details, because this understanding and building this understanding the test case first before jumping into the framework is very, very important. And this is what will be coming up with. The end result will be that this particular test case will have these sort of lines, these many number of lines, or maybe one or two more, but your test case won't be this lengthy at all. So all of these things, common mechanism, will be externalizing, and we'll be using utilities, common classes to manage all of this. Okay, so in the next tutorial I'll provide you the list of tools that we'll be using. So Selenium and Python is what we are going through, but along with that we need to do the reports, we need to do the logs, we need to generate the screenshots. So what all tools we are going to use in this particular framework series, I'll cover all of that, and then we'll start step by step to complete this automation framework. So that's all for this tutorial. Go ahead, try to understand, analyze this particular test case, whatever I have written here, and then go ahead and practice it a little bit and make sure you understood this particular scenario and why we do not want all these things in our test case, right? So our test case will be more maintainable if we simplify it and we do not hard code any of the values. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you very much for watching.